Now, listen, we are going to be talking about Marks and Spencer's today because they have declared that customers can use whichever fitting room they, quote, feel comfortable with, regardless of their gender. Now, this has upset some shoppers who are concerned at the idea of men being allowed to try on clothes in the ladies' changing room. What are your thoughts on this?
Right off the top, for people who are either transgender or binary sex or what, you know, and there are lots of terms that my daughter will scream at me. One of my daughters will scream at me for not knowing them all. But there is an issue for those people. I want to say that out loud. That they
finding a dressing room.
Finding a dressing room that they feel comfortable in. But this is about use any dressing room that you want. This is a little bit different. And I remember getting changed in dressing rooms with women would bring their husbands in to sit in that little bit in the, you know, in the front. And the curtains don't close. And while they're waiting for wifey to try on something, they're sitting there and enjoying the view. And I feel uncomfortable with that part.
But, I mean, what, are we saying that all men are pervs?
No, I'm not saying all men are pervs.
You know, I mean, I think the thing Marks and Spencer are saying that these will be lockable cubicles.
That's
well, then
that's
okay.
They're
That's
lockable.
okay.
And I have to ask, why do you say one of your daughters?
Yes.
Why one of your daughters?
One, my younger daughter identifies as, I think she wouldn't mind me calling her queer.
She would use that word?
Yeah, she would use that word. The words change all the time. She's going to... I cannot say anything correct. I'll probably get it wrong. But, yeah, and she feels very strongly about that. She's done a lot of work with LGBTQ. She just qualified as a social worker. And, but she does a lot of work with LGBTQ, and she has seen, and through her eyes, I have seen what she has had to go through. So I'm always going to be very sensitive to that.
So do you think this is very progressive, then, of Marks and Spencer's?
Well, just by saying, why have a men's and a women's dressing room, then? Why not just have changing rooms?
Yeah.
I know a lot of stores just have changing rooms. I can think of lots of them, All Saints, Gap, there's a whole load of them. Why have men... I do believe there should be a woman's in the lingerie department.
Well, because it's open to exploitation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if you've got women's changing rooms, and especially in bra-fitting places as well, if you've got women's changing rooms, men's changing rooms, if you did want to exploit something or make something of it, you could do what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem with it. If you just have unisex change rooms, and I don't have a problem with unisex, I don't have a problem with gender-based change rooms, I don't have a problem with any of it. What I do have a problem with is mixed toilets. And I don't say that for any other reason, that I really don't want to go into a toilet that a bloke's been into, because they're disgusting. They are! They do. They wheel over the seat. They wheel over the floor.
Generalisation.
No, it's not.
No. To be fair, statistically, I think, you know...
Yeah.
I mean, I do hear what you're saying, and I absolutely, of course, hear with what your daughter is saying as well, that absolutely people need to feel comfortable. But I think that women also need to feel comfortable in areas where they're getting undressed, and you do feel incredibly vulnerable in a changing room or in a toilet, because you're removing items of your clothing and you're hoping that... And this is nothing against...
But what are our fears here? What are our fears? Because I think we have to address that before we kind of pad back. What are you worried about? The vast majority of people do identify with the gender that they were born with. So they go at the ladies, they go at the gents, whatever.
Yeah.
We know now, we're much more aware that there's a group of people who don't. What are we worried about? Are we thinking that they're predators?
No, I just think it's a level of comfort.
What are we worried about?
I think the men would have more of a problem, though, because they wouldn't be able to get near the big mirror, would they?
Yeah.
I'm being absolutely serious.
Well, we do have to give...
I agree with you, that would be a problem.
It would be a problem.
We do have to get... Marks and Spencer's spokesperson has said that all M&S fitting rooms have lockable cubicles designed to protect each customer's privacy. As a business, we strive to be inclusive, and therefore we allow customers the choice of which fitting room they feel comfortable to use in respect to how they identify themselves. This is an approach other retailers and leisure facilities have also adopted. We've asked our customers to share in more detail about their concerns so that we can take the necessary action if another customer is acting inappropriately. I mean, I suppose it would just make it easier if they were all unisex, rather than saying men can come into ladies or ladies can come into men's, because then it just makes it all even.
I think they need to sort the lighting out.
Do you know?
Marks and Spencers need to sort the lighting
To be
out.
fair, that is a much bigger problem, Carol McGiffin. That is a much... You'd sell
Never
more...
buy anything you try on, ever.
Yeah, you'd sell much more bras if you had better lights.
Yes, exactly.